mom had made this huge decision without even consulting me. When my mom finished explaining, I exploded. I demanded to know why I hadn't been included in this decision. I pointed out that I had been the one supporting our household for the past 6 years, that I had put my own life on hold to take care of Mom, and now I was just expected to accept 2 more people into our home without any say in the matter. Kate started crying, apologizing over and over. She said she knew she had no right to ask for our help, but she didn't know what else to do. My mom tried to calm me down, saying that Kate and Ethan needed us, that we couldn't turn our backs on them. I stormed out of the house, needing some air and time to think. I walked around the neighborhood for hours, trying to sort out my feelings. On one hand, I understand that Kate is in a desperate situation. She's a single mother with a young child, and she needs help. And Ethan isn't innocent in all this. He shouldn't have to suffer for his parents' mistakes. But on the other hand, I can't help feeling angry. Kate made her choice 6 years ago. She chose Matt over us, left us without a word, and now she expects to be welcomed back with open arms? And what about the past 6 years of my life? I've worked hard to support my mom and keep our household going. Now I'm expected to support Kate and Ethan too. There are practical concerns as well. Our house isn't very big. Where are Kate and Ethan going to sleep? And what about the financial strain? My bookstore job pays decently, but it's not enough to support 4 people. Will Kate be able to find work? Who will take care of Ethan while she's working? When I finally came back home, Kate and Ethan were asleep in my old room. My mom was waiting up for me. She tried to talk to me about the situation, but I was too exhausted and emotionally drained to discuss it further. This morning, the reality of the situation really hit me. Kate was in the kitchen when I came down for breakfast, making pancakes like she used to when we were kids. Ethan was coloring at the table, chattering away about his favorite cartoon. My mom was smiling more than I'd seen her smile in years. For a moment, it was like the past 6 years had never happened. We were a family again, whole and happy. But then I remembered everything that had transpired. All the pain and loneliness of the past 6 years, and the warm feeling evaporated. I left for work without saying much. All day I've been distracted, unable to focus on my tasks. My coworkers noticed and asked if everything was okay, but how could I even begin to explain? Now I'm sitting here, trying to figure out what to do. I know my mom wants Kate and Ethan to stay. She sees this as a second chance, an opportunity to rebuild our family, and I can see how happy it makes her to have Kate back, to be a grandmother to Ethan. But I'm struggling to let go of my anger and resentment. I feel like Kate is being rewarded for her bad choices while I'm being taken for granted. I've been the responsible one, the one who stayed and took care of things, and now I'm expected to just adapt to this new situation without complaint. At the same time, I feel guilty for these thoughts. Isn't family supposed to be about forgiveness and second chances? Am I being selfish for not wanting to help my sister and nephew when they're clearly in need? I don't know what the right thing to do is. Part of me wants to put my foot down, to say that Kate and Ethan can't stay. But I know that would break my mom's heart and potentially leave Kate and Ethan with nowhere to go. Another part of me thinks I should just accept the situation and try to make the best of it. Maybe this could be a chance to rebuild my relationship with Kate, to get to know my nephew. But I'm afraid of being hurt again, of opening my heart only to have Kate leave us once more. So Reddit, I turn to you for judgment and advice. Am I being selfish and unforgiving? Or are my feelings justified? And what should I do now? How do I navigate this complicated family situation without losing my mind or destroying my relationships? I feel lost and conflicted, torn between my lingering anger at Kate and my love for my family. Any insights or advice would be greatly appreciated. Update. I really need to post this. I never expected my day to take such a dramatic turn. I was at work, trying to focus on my tasks despite the turmoil at home, when I received a call from my mom. Her voice was shaking as she told me that the police had come to our house and arrested Kate. I was stunned. What could Kate have possibly done to warrant an arrest? I left work immediately and rushed to the police station. When I arrived, I found my mom already there, looking pale and shocked. An officer sat us down and explained the situation. What he told us left us reeling. It turned out that Kate and Matt's life over the past 6 years was nothing like we had imagined. They hadn't been struggling to make ends meet or trying to build a better life. Instead, they had been involved in a series of cons and scams. The officer explained that Kate and Matt had developed a routine. They would move to a new town, and Kate would seek out wealthy married men. She would seduce them and start affairs. Meanwhile, Matt would gather evidence of these affairs, photos, videos, text messages. Then they would use this evidence to blackmail the men, threatening to expose their infidelity unless they paid up. I felt sick listening to this. I couldn't believe that my sister, the girl I grew up with, could be capable of such manipulation and deceit. But as the officer continued, it only got worse. Their latest target had been a man with significant wealth and powerful connections. Kate had seduced him, and he had fallen for her act completely. He believed she was a single mother struggling to care for her son. He had given her money, helped her find a place to live, even talked about leaving his wife for her. But then he discovered the truth. He found out about Matt, realized that Kate was married, and uncovered their whole operation. Instead of giving in to their blackmail attempts, he used his connections to set a trap for them. Matt was caught first. He had been arrested a week ago in another city. Kate had managed to escape, and that's when she had come to us. She hadn't told us anything about what was really going on. She had used us as a hiding place, putting us at risk without a second thought. The police had been tracking Kate and finally traced her to our house. That's why they had come to arrest her. The officer told us that Kate was facing serious charges, fraud, blackmail, and possibly even prostitution. She was likely looking at significant jail time. As for Ethan, child services had been notified. However, given that my mom and I were his closest relatives and had no involvement in Kate's crimes, we would likely be given the option to take custody of him if we wanted. I sat there, trying to process all of this information. I felt a whirlwind of emotions: shock, anger, betrayal, sadness. I looked at my mom and saw tears streaming down her face. She looked broken, as if her whole world had shattered. We were allowed to see Kate briefly. She was in a holding cell, her face streaked with tears. When she saw us, she broke down sobbing, begging us to help her. She swore she never meant for things to go this far, that she and Matt had just been desperate for money at first, and then things had spiraled out of control. I didn't know what to say to her. Part of me wanted to yell at her, to demand how she could have done this, how she could have lied to us and used us. But seeing her there behind bars looking so small and scared, I couldn't find the words. In the end, I just told her that we would look after Ethan and left. The next few days were a blur. We had to deal with lawyers, child services, and the press who had gotten wind of the story. Our quiet life had been turned upside down. Ethan was placed in our care temporarily while the legal process unfolded. He didn't understand what was happening, only that his mommy was gone and he was living with us now. It broke my heart to see him asking for Kate, not knowing if or when he would see her again. My mom was devastated. She blamed herself, wondering if she had done something wrong in raising Kate, if there were signs she had missed. I tried to comfort her, but I was struggling with my own emotions. I felt angry at Kate for putting us through this, for lying to us and using us.